Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Around South Jersey with Jim Quinn. I'm your guest host, Derick Glenn, filling in for Jim while he is out. And Jim, if you're watching tonight, we just want to say get well soon so you can get back here in this hot seat. Tonight is going to be a great program. I'm going to ask everybody to share your Facebook page with your friends. Call all your friends now. Tell them to tune in to Comcast Channel 22, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live on Quinn Broadcasting. Tonight I am joined with the Millville Army Airfield Museum President, Mr. Carey, and Board Vice President, Bob Trivellini. Guys, welcome to the show tonight. Welcome to the program. So glad to have you guys here. We're just talking about the hidden gem out at the Millville Airport, and Millville in general, the Millville Army Airfield Museum. And Jerry, you were just saying, how long has it been in existence?
Well, the museum's been in existence for almost 40 years now. I think it's 38 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 1988, I guess we opened the doors.
That's incredible.
And yeah, it is. It's amazing. And just to see how far it's come, even in just the last last 10 years or so, it's just, and I tell people this all the time, if you haven't been there in a while, come out because you're going to see stuff you've never seen before.
And it's exactly true. You take a ride out there, you take a ride in your car out to see planes land or whatever, or ride your bike out there, and there's new apparatus. Is that what I call it? Apparatus, new planes and tanks, and all just great stuff out there to see, besides the museum itself. But and another fun fact you had just mentioned before we came on the air is Lisa Jester has been there running the helm for how long now?
Just over 20 years now.
Man.
Yeah, she celebrated her 20th anniversary earlier in 2025.
Well, congratulations, Lisa. Yeah, that's incredible.
So it's incredible the work that she does and has done in the past to really make the museum the experience it is for when people come out.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's some longevity right there. That's a long time.
Yeah.
But what a great place for folks, for veterans, for non-veterans, for the youth, for individuals that are, that are just in the area that are looking for something great to do for a day, to come out to the Millville Airport and experience the museum. Want to talk about tonight, we're specifically going to talk about membership and how folks that are watching can be able to enjoy this experience all the time by becoming a member and getting involved in the museum. But and I know you specifically are doing an event. I think is it tomorrow night, Bob?
Tomorrow night, yeah. We're really, the timing is perfect. If you want to learn about membership, this is perfect. We have an open house. It's from 5 to 7, and that event gives people the opportunity to see what we have, to hear directly from members. There's veterans there. There's refreshments, so it's a relaxed evening, and we want to see you come out. And anyone that becomes a member, it's an amazing value in that you can get a free T-shirt. And one of our great partners, Angelic Health, who does hospice services and at times does outreach for veterans in our buildings, is there and providing another free gift. So we'd love to have people come out.
I love this. So guys, check out this flyer that's on the screen right now. Come visit the hidden history jewel of South Jersey. Be our guest and bring a guest with you. Night at the museum, open house for non-members, hosted by Angelic Health. Tomorrow night, Thursday, March 19th, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And make sure you get out there and you find out about membership. You find out what the museum is all about, and it's a great place. Great place. It's going to be an exciting event for you guys tomorrow night. I hope you have 1,000 people come out. I hope I hope you're over fire code. Let's say. You know what I mean?
Well, we'll spread them around among the different buildings.
Yes.
We've got 3 buildings with displays in them now, plus the courtyard with all our static displays outside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So just, I hope folks take advantage of this opportunity and come out and see, even just come see what you have to offer, see what you have to offer and stuff. This, of course, is near and dear to my heart, veterans. And, my guys and gals love the museum. They love to come out. They love to reminisce. They love to see stuff, and they love to look at stuff. You have stuff out there that actually, one of our veterans, he's deceased now, but his name is on there. He actually served out there, and at the he did training out there and stuff. And for him to see his name on the wall was just amazing. He actually, he I don't want to say burst into tears, but he was very moved. He was very moved by it. He had no idea his name was out there on something at the museum. Had no idea. And we had brought him out there for an event and had lunch out in the courtyard. And just like I said, just for his name to be on there. Last name was Trivellini.
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that anyone who served there, we have a wall of to remember them by, with a plaque for every veteran, and it's a great thing, because those are at the heart of who we're honored with the museum in those buildings. And there were 14 pilots who died just in training at the airfield, which it's hard to believe, and a lot of times with young people, they're thinking, well, there's 14 that died. They're thinking they died in combat. Yeah. But the training was so dangerous, and everyone who served there, whether they were ground crew or the pilots, were contributing something very important right in Millville.
Wow. Yeah. And it's amazing to think the history, the history of it. Because I think one of your like motto or slogan is, it's America's first defense?
The first defense airport, for World War II, The United States government decided to establish 90 of those airports, and originally set to guard the coastline against a potential invasion. And Leon Henderson, who was a Millville native, was a member of Franklin Roosevelt's administration. And with his guidance, the government chose Millville as the first air defense airport in World War II. And ultimately, 10,000 people served there during the war, including 1,500 pilots who were there for advanced gunnery training.
Wow.
Yeah, it must have been crazy. I mean, at the time, there were only about 14 or 15,000 people living in Millville, and we didn't have 10,000 there all at once, but through the years, 10,000 people. So it had to be a real culture change.
It's amazing. Yeah. As a young man going out to the airport, I was always fascinated by the I don't know if it was housing, all the buildings that are out there, that a lot of them are still standing and stuff. What were they used for back in the day? Was that like housing for the?
Yeah, there were barracks, there were warehouses, there were buildings just for flight training, including our Link Trainer flight simulator building, which we still has one of our active buildings. So it was a little city within a city. It had a movie theater.
Yeah. Wow.
And that theater building is still there as well.
No way.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I mean, you think about it, and those buildings were, when they were built, they were meant to last through the war.
Yeah.
And 85 years later, I mean, we have just our museum, we have 4 of them that are completely restored.
Wow.
And in great shape, and then there are a couple others that that are being used for other businesses out at the airport. So, no one anticipated back in 1941 that 80 years later those things would still be standing.
And I can't imagine. And they look great. But just the, like I said, just the history. To be able to come out there and see that stuff. So I want to talk about one of the questions I have for both of you. Is the benefits of a visit to the museum. Can you tell us what people can expect and what benefits they would have from coming out and visiting?
Not only is there history and lots of it directly related to World War II and Millville's importance in the winning of the war, because most of the pilots went to all of the pilots who trained in Millville went to Europe. So they helped defeat the Nazis. But in the museum, you have the aviation aspect as well. So that when young people, for example, come out, they can develop that interest in aviation and learn about it. And then we really, really focus on the local aspect, what happened in Millville during the war, and also those the contributions of the community and of local veterans.
Yeah. Wow. Do you see a lot of young people that come out to the museum? Do you see teens and others that are coming out there?
We do. The museum, and a lot of times you'll hear people say, young people today, they're not interested in World War II, but there are young people who not only are interested, but it's their thing.
Yeah.
So we give them those opportunities. We have a long-standing summer program, our summer SOAR program, which is for high school age students, which has aviation and history components, where they get into letters and artifacts and but they also they get to talk to pilots and they get to see the aircraft outside. We also offer individual opportunities for middle schoolers and elementary students as well. And one of the things you touched upon is it's a great place to just come and see planes land and take off from a really close perspective.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I don't know, we've heard from so many people, just people in the area, well, I never knew this was here, and it's a fantastic place to bring my kids to come and see sunset.
Wow. Isn't that something?
And it's always free. We're absolutely committed as an organization to never charge admission.
So I never realized that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And, which makes some of our other events like our membership drive and things like that, and the stuff we've done for other ways of raising funds important, because we still have bills to pay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I will, and I tell this to people all the time. It's like, come out. Just come out. I don't care if you've been there years ago.
Yeah.
Come out again, because you're going to find things there. You're going to see things there you've never seen before.
Yeah.
And even when people come for a visit, there's just no way in a couple hours you can see everything. There's just too much there.
Yeah.
And let's face it. You talk about young people, but they're just a couple generations removed. They're grandparents. Back in during the World War II, everybody had somebody in the service.
Yeah.
There were, no matter what block you lived on, there were families all up and down the street that had someone someplace in the world, in the service.
Yeah. So. Wow, isn't that amazing? I think back, it's just funny. It makes me think. My grandmother, actually, I was raised by my grandma, and she said to me, I'm not sure where she lived at the time, but they would do raids, and everybody, you would have to turn out your lights. You would have to they'd turn out the street lights. They would turn all the lights off and stuff. And I think about that, and I don't know why, but it always brings back the vision of those buildings out there at the airport. I don't know why, but it just I visualize that when I think of this, that I can't imagine going through something like that, being in a time when things like this are happening. But another thing, I'm so glad you guys are here, because you're going to be able to answer this question for me. A long life question I had. So my grandfather, he used to take me. We used to go into right on Buckshootum Road, right where the Field of Dreams is now. Back in that area, there were, I want to say, bunkers that were back. So what exactly is that, or were they? Was that part of the airport?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, they were training pilots, fighter pilots in the P-47, which was both ground and air combat. So there were bunkers out there. There were targets out there. Wooden tanks and ships and things like that. And of course, you know, you had to be able to, you know, they had to have observers out there too, you know, so that was some of the bunkers too, where, you know, where the observers
Wow.
were to watch to see, you know, how the pilots were doing. And
No way.
And one of the cool, for me, I think it's one of the interesting displays we have in the back room. We have this long metal piece of metal netting.
Yeah.
And what happened during the war, when they were training the pilots, a larger plane, usually like a bomber, would tow this target through the air, and the pilots would be shooting at it. And the pilots,
Oh my goodness.
their bullets were color-coded, so that when they hit the target, it left the ring with the color of their bullet. So when they landed,
No
they could
way.
see who hit the target and who didn't.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And the tow target that we have on display, we found out is actually a rarity, because generally at other airports these things were scrapped.
Yeah.
They weren't. And the story from our longtime members from the beginning was this tow target was found keeping birds out of the building that is now Glasstown Brewery.
No
So
way.
it was
Are
at
you
the top-
serious?
at the top of the building.
No way.
And it's in great shape. You can see the color
Yeah.
of the bullets, and
Oh my goodness.
so it's one of the most
Wow.
unusual,
That's pretty
rare
cool.
rare aspects
That's-
that we have. And we
that's
were
pretty
lucky, and every one of those there are stories. A few years ago, we had a veteran who just passed last year, short of his 105th birthday.
Ah,
But
my
he
goodness.
was in the tow target plane in Millville during the war, and he was from Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And for his 98th birthday, the family brought him down, and we captured many, many videos, because he was in incredibly great
Yeah.
shape, and
Yeah.
he lived at home until he was 104.
my
So he gave us many, many great historical.
That's amazing.
And-
Now, go ahead. Go
No, I
ahead.
was going to say, you know, we talked about, you know, the connection with young people.
Yeah.
And that's true. A lot of the people that, you know, are involved with the museum have that connection. I mean, Bob's father served in World War II. My father served in World War II. And it's just, you know, it's a great experience. And now that, you know, we're a much more mature organization,
Yeah.
one of the things that, you know, is kind of my dream, and I've shared it with the board, is we would love to hear about people that are out there whose grandfather or parents served there, you know,
Yeah.
and they have some memories of it.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah,
just to connect with them
absolutely.
and have them become
Yeah.
part of our family, you know. And
Yeah.
I think in today's world with, you know, social media,
Yeah.
that may be a lot more
Yeah.
easily
Absolutely.
achieved.
And I mean, how cool is it? I think, you know, to especially younger people now that can say their grandparents, like my grandmother, she was a nurse in World War II in the
Wow.
Army. And I wish I knew more about that. I wish I had, you know, I wish I had artifacts. I wish I had photo. You know, I don't. But for young people, that is amazing. You know, to be able to share that with stuff, and or be able to come out there and see, you know, this is what your grandfather did. This is what he, you know, this is what he was involved in. I mean, that, to me, it would be very intriguing, you know, to as a young person to come out and see stuff like this. I'm fascinated by the large planes that you guys have had out there, the B-17, and never in a million years did I ever dream I would fly on one of them, and we did. And I don't know how these pilots, I don't know how they endured that for so long, and especially in combat. I don't know, because you know, it was like a tin can, and it was so loud, just so loud, and you know, it just, you know, to me it was just amazing. This is one of the planes we're showing right now that you guys have out there. What is this right here?
That's the A4, and that is a Vietnam era plane. It's beautiful. It's fast, and we were fortunate to have members of the pilot and members of his crew a number of years ago. They tracked it down. It was great to have that as a donation.
Wow, that's amazing to get that. as a donation.
Yeah, that model plane, John McCain, the former senator, that's the plane he flew during Vietnam.
Wow.
He flew in an A4. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. We're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk with Jerry and Bob some more. I just want to say there's a couple people. Andy Reef want to say hi to you. He's watching. Lisa's watching. Hello, Lisa. John Sapello. Hey, I know those guys.
Yeah,
he said.
John Sapello. I used to work with John Sapello.
So. Hello to everybody watching. And you guys can comment. You can go to the Facebook page on Quinn Broadcasting and comment and share that information. But we're going to take a short commercial break to thank some of our sponsors. And we're going to start out with a fun video tour of the museum. We'll be back right after this on Around South Jersey with Jim Quinn.
For generations, Mintz Insurance has stood for trust, resilience, and community. And today, that legacy continues. This new generation brings fresh energy and enthusiasm to the same personalized, dependable service and ability to deliver that our clients have known for over 90 years. From Main Street to your street, we're here, local, loyal, and looking ahead.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Many people treat their health like a game. With the Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Our mental health services focus on the emotions and behaviors that affect your overall well-being and features psychiatric, counseling, and addiction services, including our exclusive Fresh Start program, designed to help combat the opioid epidemic in our communities, plus all the other specialties you expect from Complete Care. Level up your health with us. The Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
It's New Life's 40th anniversary celebration. Join Pastor Helen and our guest speaker, Apostle Michael Pangio. It happens on March 22nd at 11 a.m.
Hey folks, welcome back to Around South Jersey with Jim Quinn. I am your guest host, Derick Glenn. I want to talk about DuraShield right now, and DuraShield LLC, where durability meets design, residential and commercial flooring, epoxy, polyaspartic, polished concrete. You can reach them at DuraShieldCoatings.com, also 609-666-9198. They do commercial and residential work. They can turn your garage into a beautiful gym or anything and everything. Check them out, doorshieldcoatings.com. They use the epoxy and the flake, all different colors. They just did something for Millville. They did orange and blue.
Oh, cool.
Looks really cool. Yeah, it looks really cool. So do all kinds of stuff. I am back with my guests, Jerry, Carey, and Bob Trivellini, both board members, president and vice president of the Millville Army Airfield Museum. Welcome back to the program. The Millville Army Airfield Museum is about to celebrate its 85th anniversary, correct?
Well, it's the 85th anniversary of the establishment of the airport as the first air defense airport in the United States. So we have a museum that is like no place on earth. There's only one place that could be the first air defense airport, and it's the Millville Airport and our museum.
Yeah. Wow. So tell us what's going to take place and when it's going to start and what's involved and all that good stuff, because I know some of our viewers are absolutely going to want to come participate and be involved in this.
Yeah. Well, plans are still being formulated, but we envision it as a year-long celebration that begins on August 2nd, because August 2nd, 1941 was the event where the airfield, was dedicated as this air defense airport, and it was really fascinating. I would think. I mean, I wasn't there, but that day, not only you had a lot of dignitaries that came from Washington. In fact, Leon Henderson, a Millville native who was a member of Franklin Roosevelt's administration, was essential in guiding the decision to make the first air defense airport at Millville.
Wow.
And so he was there, dignitaries from a lot of other states. The mayor at the time, who was Raymond Goodwin, was the mayor, and Lieutenant Colonel Arthur Vanneman, who is from Millville and was a former attaché to the embassy in Berlin, was there.
Later became a general.
Oh yeah, okay.
Wow.
Probably the most amazing thing is they had an air show in 1941. This is 14 years after Lindbergh flew across the Atlantic, right?
Yeah.
And 10,000 people showed up.
No way.
Well, but the other thing is there were probably somewhere between 14,800 and 15,000 people living in Millville at the time. So almost in a number equivalent to the entire population of Millville showed up for this air show. And I would imagine some of those people had never been close up to an airplane before in their lives, because it was 1941. So it must have been an amazing event.
I bet it was, man.
And then with the next few years, you had thousands of soldiers in the area. You had military vehicles running up and down the street, supplying the air base. Planes flying overhead.
Yeah.
There are even a couple of stories posted in the museum where some errant bullets from the airbase hit houses in the area.
Wow.
Yeah. And one of the stories, apparently it passed right between two kids on their way to school.
Oh my goodness.
So it was,
wow.
What a different world.
Yeah. And just like you said, a different world. But can you imagine the difference back then? No food trucks, it was different. And when you see visually, stuff like that you see on television or in the movies, and it's a whole nother world. But back then, I just think there was so much innocence, what I mean? And it was just a different time.
Yeah.
That's why, I think it's so important to get the youth involved and for them to see, positive things like this and to see the history of our country, what the men and women, the sacrifices that they gave is just amazing. And when I talk to individuals that, we've got a few left from World War II, but when we speak to them, just the just everything they gave up was just amazing, and some for so many years. Some of them dedicated almost their whole life to this, and their family was home while they were there battling and stuff. It's amazing. And Bob, I know that you capture and you do you capture and you record history of vets, and I know you've been to the veterans home, and you do it many different places, but I think it's amazing when you hear a story and just just a veteran just from their heart just tells a genuine story about their military service. And I have one gentleman in general that resides there that I don't want to say his name, but we've taken him out about a half a dozen times to speak. He's a great public speaker, and he served in Vietnam. And his story, it's so captivating for the young people when he starts out telling them says I was drafted, and he's like, do you know what that means? And they're like football? No, not like football. And then he goes into and he starts telling them that this is what I did. We went from place to place to camp every day, and we had rations. Do you know what rations are? No, what's that? And he would say, we had we were allotted so much food each day, and this is what I decided. And we started to do comparisons with the kids in the class, because they were like between 8th and 12th grade students, and we would do comparisons, and we say, there was no DoorDash, and there's no drive-through, there's no and when they would think about the rations, they would like, well, what did you do at night when you were hungry? And he would tell them, we didn't eat, we only had but this much. And then he started talking about where they slept. They slept in the mud, or with a tarp over them or whatever. And we had to move each day. We moved and we moved and we moved. And and one of the stories, I think it was the first time we ever went. We went to the Cumberland County College, and we were telling a group of students, and he actually got a little more graphic than I hoped for. And he told a story about the air base and how this young girl would ride her bike up every day. She would ride her bike and she would sell Cokes for $0.25. And every day they would go out, and 10 or 12 of them would go to the fence and they would buy them. And this happened for weeks, and went on for weeks, until the one day she rode her bike up. And, I don't want to say what happened, but, didn't end well. And he was, I don't want to say lucky enough, but he did not go to the fence that day. And, he's living now because he didn't. But stories like that, when we tell the young people, it's just their eyes, and they just sit there and they just stare, and sometimes their mouth is open and they're in awe at these stories. And I really hope that they're able to take even just a fragment of this history away and appreciate it and respect it, and be able to say to themselves later on, reflect on it and think, my goodness, I have it so good. I have it so good because of the people that went before me and stuff, but yeah, we go every year. We go to elementary schools, we go to different locations, and we talk, and we always do a question and answer. I usually take 5 or 6, and we do a question and answer, and it's amazing some of the questions that these kids ask. But it's always, a lot of it has to do with food. Believe it or not, a lot of it has to do with food. Like, did you have cheeseburgers when you were? Yeah. Oh, we didn't have cheeseburgers. What about fast food? Do they have fast food? No, there's no fast food where we were. You know what I mean? It's just they don't. A lot of them don't understand. They have no concept of what they they went through, but to hear their stories is just every day. I hear news stories every day. It's just so compelling. So what you and everyone involved in the museum are doing to keep this history alive, I think, is so commendable. And it's I know there's a lot of people out there in the community that appreciate it. And I just want to say one person in specific is Verna's Flightline out there. And she was here Monday night on the show, and she spoke just volumes of you guys in the museum, and just how much she respects the work that you do. And she loves to be involved, and she said she wished she could spend more time over there. She's back in the kitchen now doing her thing. But and you when you're there, I'm sure you're there and you're doing what you're doing and you're working on exhibits and this and this and that, and you don't think about a lot of the, the back end stuff. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that love to come there, that love to spend time there, that, can come there and maybe meet somebody that they may have something in common with. I know quite a few folks that come out there that hear stories and they just enjoy being somewhere around other veterans or other service members or community, patriots even, that are just love the history and stuff like that. Do you see that? Do you see people that come out that just enjoy being there and just love to be around that and love to be around other people that have the passion for that?
Well, we're so fortunate in that because we're recording these stories with our veteran interview project, that people, and we have iPads in the museum. We're currently coming to the end of a great grant from the New Jersey Council for Humanities. But what we'll find is through those video clips or through displays that people whose grandfather passed away many years ago, they're able to learn about their service through that of another who served near their relative or in the same type of aircraft,
which is fantastic.
And it gives the future generations as well, because we're extremely fortunate to have so many veterans, and particularly we're in World War II buildings, so we get a lot of World War II veterans that have come in and been recorded, but 100 years from now, people are still going to be able to hear the firsthand stories, and we're unfortunately coming to the end of the World War II veterans, because even the youngest ones are about 99. But we have, for example, today, Star Volunteer, he's 104 years old, and a Holocaust witness was there today. People drove 2.5 hours because they heard he was going to be here, and so he comes out, he's extremely healthy, but his story as a medic in the Army, treating the wounded at the Battle of the Bulge and other battles, and then at the end of nearing the end of the war, when the United States Army liberated Buchenwald concentration camp, they sent his entire unit in there, and they were in there for a couple of weeks to try and save as many of the extremely ill people as possible. And he speaks out, as a witness to say, I saw it. It was at a huge scale. It can't be denied. So for our kids to hear that, and the adults, and just the sacrifices that so many people made, and what it took to overcome that evil, all of these individual soldiers, it's powerful, and we're happy to capture it in the museum.
And if I could take a few minutes to talk about the Veterans Interview Project. This is something that Bob started years ago. And it's an amazing thing because it speaks so much to what the museum is about. I mean, if there are three things that we do at the museum, it's preservation, education, and honoring veterans. And capturing these videos, these are people that they're eyewitness to history. And I mean, it's the crazy thing. They were kids. They were 18-year-olds. They were 22-year-olds, and they were seeing and doing things that nobody should have to do in their lives. And I was lucky, even though the program is set up so that local high school students actually do the interviews of the veterans, which is a great connection to young people. But even though my son wasn't a local high school student, I knew Bob, and so he pulled a few strings for my kid. We got to do them. But the two things that I'll never forget, two of the interviews that we did, because I got to be the cameraman for my son.
Oh, wow.
And the first one was a Vietnam vet, a local guy from Vineland. And he said, he's talking about his war experiences, and and then he talked about his life in growing up in Vineland. He says, I was always running around with my friends and everything, but when I came back, I didn't feel like it. I said, well, and as I said, well, why was that? What was it like coming back? And he says, it was like the whole world had changed.
Wow.
You know? Yeah, and it just took my breath away hearing that.
Yeah.
And then the other one was, again, this was the one that Bob set up. A guy from Millville, I guess it was outside of Millville at the time, Walt, who was, 18 years old or 19, whatever. He was on the first wave on Iwo Jima. He goes ashore with 57 guys in his unit, and a week later, 7 of them are still alive.
Yeah.
And that's just in 1 week.
Yeah.
And it was just, but at the end of his interview, again, I asked him the same question. Well, what did you do after the war? He says, well, I went back to work on the farm.
Wow. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Wow is right.
It's amazing. I find myself working with veterans every day. Some of the I don't want to get too deep here, but do you ever see any vets that come out there and that get emotional when they're looking at the displays and they talk, or especially they hear a patriotic song like God Bless the USA or the national anthem or everything? You ever see that or stuff?
I think of this one story that was relayed to me by a P-47 pilot, Bill Rich, who was one of our founders, who's passed away now about 10 years. He was there volunteering, as our museum has always had these World War II guys out volunteering, and he saw a man looking at a display getting emotional. And then he talked to the veteran. It was about the Battle of the Bulge, and he said, it's okay, I served as well. And when he found out that he was a P-47, the man broke down and began to cry, and he said, you saved us. You P-47 pilots flew over us because they had been surrounded by the Germans in the Battle of the Bulge, and the weather kept the planes out, and the weather cleared. But Bill said the man left in tears, and he said he would never forget it. And fortunately, these stories that get passed to us, I'll never forget that.
Yeah. And that to me is I don't want to sound off key here, but I don't think there's anything more special than when a veteran sees something or hears something, and it's not something traumatic to them, but it's something joyful, such as a patriotic song, or God Bless the USA, or something like that, and they get emotional, but they're joyful because they love their country so much. And we see it all the time, and it's just to me it's amazing. One of the greatest joys I have, I think, is when we do medal ceremonies, and we go around if there's a new medal given out or something, and we do a medal ceremony and we invite the family, and just to be able to see how proud the family members are, and again, they're motivated, they're moved to tears, a lot of them, but to see how proud their family members to receive, to get pinned, with that honor is amazing, and I love doing stuff like that. It brings me so much joy, and I'm humbled to be able to do this, to be able to do what I do. I want to talk. We don't have a whole lot of time, but I want to see if Ryan can put that flyer up again for the open house, which is tomorrow night. And for people that are just joining us, can one of you tell us again what's going on tomorrow night at the Millville Army Airfield Museum?
Sure. It's our annual open house, and it's particularly for non-members, current non-members. We'll come out for a couple hours. It's very low-key, very casual. Just come out, be able to talk to people about the museum. Some of our volunteers and veterans will be there. All of our buildings will be open, which is not something that we can always staff. free refreshments, and you just learn more about the museum and learn what it's like. Obviously, we'd hope that people would consider to become a member, because as a free museum, we rely on things like membership to help us keep the lights on and the doors open so that people can enjoy our museum. There's really no requirements other than the fact that you want to help to sustain, what you think is a worthwhile nonprofit.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tomorrow night, the Millville Army Airfield Museum, 5 to 7.
5 to 7.
Angelic Health will be there, supporting the event,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be a great time.
It's a lot of fun. It really is, because again, it's a lot of people, their eyes will be opened, that they never thought, and it's just it's a great place to come out and visit and spend time, and there are places to eat out at the airport these days. There's the brewery. There's other places. Smith and Jackson Military Sales. They've been a big supporter of the museum. Verna's helps us so much with things.
And that's one of the things we try and point at as a great little local destination.
Yeah.
Come out, see the museum, have lunch at Verna's, go to Glasstown Brewery. There's another restaurant, Cornerstone, that's open on the weekends and the evenings. So no matter what time of day, there's a restaurant available for you. The plane's landing and taking off. It's it's a place that you can come out and get away, even if you're only driving 15 minutes to get there.
Yeah, and it brings back so many fond memories of my childhood. My grandmother and I, kind of a funny story. We would stop in Millville at the 7th Street Laundromat. It's on 7th and Main.
Yeah.
We'd stop out there. We would get a couple cans of Pepsi. We would go to Bim's Pizza. We'd get a pizza. We'd drive out to the Millville Airport, and we would park at the fence, and we would eat our pizza, drink our Pepsi, and we'd watch planes land. And then a lot of times when we were done, we'd go for dessert. So and still as a teen, I took my kids out there and parked, and we watched the planes land and had sat there and enjoyed desserts or whatever. It was just always a go-to spot. We would just always but this is just a great opportunity, I think, for people. Families are always looking for things to do. Mm-hmm. They're always looking for opportunities to take their kids places, to do things on weekends or whatever. This, folks, is a local, destination. You don't have to travel very far. It's right at the airport. You can make a day of it. Mm-hmm. Some of the stuff that you have out there now is so cool.
Yeah.
Your static displays outside are just so cool. Kids would love to come out there and take their picture next to a tank or a plane or whatever. Mm-hmm. But just an opportunity to come out there and like you said, now there's so much other stuff out there to do. There's restaurants, there's the brewery, there's it's a booming little city.
Yeah.
Within a city.
Absolutely. I can guarantee you come out with your kids or your members of your family just one time, and I guarantee you're going to want to come out again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I know my guys from the home love it. We got to take a commercial break. Ryan, can we show that video again? We're going to give you a quick little tour of the museum here, and you'll be able to kind of get a little idea. It's not going to tell you what you're really in for. So if you're available tomorrow night to stop out to the open house between 5 and 7 at the Millville Army Airfield, please do. But we're going to show you a little video clip of some of the stuff they have out there. And don't go anywhere. We will be back in just a couple minutes here on Around South Jersey with Jim Quinn.
decades, our dad has been a steady, trusted voice here at Mintz Insurance, helping neighbors, not just clients, protect what matters most.
As Dad steps into retirement, one thing stays the same: our commitment to this community.
We're proud to be independent, rooted right here in Millville. No call centers, no runaround, just real people ready to help, just like Dad always did.
Mintz Insurance, built on trust, proud of our past, and ready for what's next.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Many people treat their health like a game. With the Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Our mental health services focus on the emotions and behaviors that affect your overall well-being and features psychiatric, counseling, and addiction services, including our exclusive Fresh Start program, designed to help combat the opioid epidemic in our communities, plus all the other specialties you expect from Complete Care. Level up your health with us. The Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
It's New Life's 40th anniversary celebration. Join Pastor Helen and our guest speaker, Apostle Michael Pangio. It happens on March 22nd at 11 a.m.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Around South Jersey with Jim Quinn. I'm your guest host in tonight, Derick Glenn. And welcoming back my friends from the Millville Army Airfield Museum, Carey, Board President, and Bob Trivellini, Board Vice President of the Millville Army Airfield Museum. Want to just say a quick shout out to DuraShield LLC, where durability meets design, residential and commercial flooring, epoxy, polyaspartic, polished concrete. You can reach them at durashieldcoatings.com, 609-666-9198. Ask for my son Alex, and they can help you with all of your commercial or residential needs. They do epoxy flooring, and they throw the what do they call that? The chip down, the flake down, and they do a lot of cool work. They do a lot of residential garages and turn them into gyms and all kinds of fun stuff. Welcome back, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here tonight. You guys have the open house tomorrow evening, 5 to 7, at the Millville Army Airfield Museum, and looking for hopefully to recruit some new members, some membership for that. But what else do you have coming up, Bob? What other special events do you have, things coming up here in the future?
Yes, we do, and we want to invite people to take advantage of the history in these events. Every 3 months in June, September, December, and March, we have a speaker and movie night. So we're fortunate, and most of these have been World War II veterans. So we want to invite everyone to come out. The next one is going to feature a 101-year-old Army Air Corps veteran who's being driven here from Pennsylvania. These are free events. We also have Saturday events. Just in the past year, we had a Tuskegee Airman from Philadelphia and a pilot from Pennsylvania. Both were just 100 for us. That's fairly young for our World War II veterans. And that gentleman is a C-47 pilot. So people can hear what they experienced right here locally. And those are all free events. Donations, of course, are welcome and help to do all these things for the community. We also have an upcoming, which is a new thing for us, a 5K run and walk And that's going to be held, begin at the Glasstown Brewery. And it's an event that brings runners and walkers from all over South Jersey, but we want everybody, local people. The proceeds, part of the proceeds to the museum, so we're happy that these organizations put that on, and that's on Flag Day, June the 14th.
I'm writing that down right now, Bob. I am writing this down, June 14th. I want to come out there and be a part of the walk. I'm not a runner, but I'm a walker.
Sounds
wow.
good.
What else you have? What else you have coming up?
And one of our biggest events of the year is the Veteran Appreciation Day that we do the first Saturday in November. And all veterans, we love to have you out there. Going back to Verna's, she donates free lunch. We have a beautiful ceremony. We have young people, a lot of young people involved in that. And the point is to honor veterans who've served in peacetime and in all types of wars and conflict. We've had some amazing guest speakers. 2 years ago, we had General Carey,
Wow.
who was originally
Morristown.
from Millville, from Morristown, and
Yeah.
a Millville High graduate, came back, came from Kentucky just
Yep.
to speak at that.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then last year, Donna Pio talked about her father's experience, who was stationed at the Millville Air Base
Yeah.
during World War II. And this coming year, Colonel Charles, retired Colonel Charles Pangburn, who was a Marine Colonel, served in Iraq. And he's a local guy. He lives in Kentucky, and he's going to come back and be our keynote speaker this year.
That's awesome.
We're trying to, with the Veterans Appreciation Day, we're trying to keep the focus on the idea of there's a lot of local
Yeah.
people with military histories, so we want to make sure that we, honor their presence and let people know that, hey, these are people you went to high school with. These are people who's lived around the corner for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Ryan, I'm going to ask you if you could put that flyer back up one more time for the open house tomorrow night. Folks, you want to make sure, check this out, tomorrow evening between 5 and 7 at the Millville Army Airfield Museum. Stop out night at the museum, open house for non-members, hosted by Angelic Health. So put this on your calendar, put a reminder on your phone tomorrow, grab a snack, and then head on out to the airport for the Millville Army Airfield Museum open house. You can sign up to be a member, and you can absolutely go out there and learn about the facility, and you'll see all the great stuff that they have to offer, all the displays and everything else. I think that you guys are going to have a good time. I'm banking that you have a good turnout, and you can get some new members and see some fresh faces from the community. I think it'll be a great time.
And every new member will walk away with a free museum T-shirt.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely. I want to thank both of you for taking some time out of your day, coming out here to promote the museum, the Millville Army Airfield Museum. Millville's little gem, and out there at the Millville Airport. Wish you guys both the best of luck, and my best to Lisa.
Absolutely.
And everybody else out there. Love to bring you back sometime and talk about some more special events that you're having. I'd love to discuss hopefully coming out and do something and try and get involved in your Veterans Day program that you do. I'd love to be involved in that. Maybe we'll talk about doing something this year for that as well.
That'd be great.
But folks, my guests today, I want to thank them for being on. Jay Carey, the president of the board of directors, and Bob Trivellini, the vice president of the board for the Millville Army Airfield Museum. We got a lot of great stuff coming up next week for you on Around South Jersey. So just continue to follow our Facebook page, YouTube page, and Instagram page on Quinn Broadcasting, and then also Comcast Channel 22. I want to thank all of our sponsors and, of course, all of our viewers at home. I want to ask everyone to say a special prayer and some well wishes to Jim Quinn, that he will get better fast soon so he can get back here in this hot seat. I've been your guest host, Derick Glenn. Once again, I want to thank everybody for watching, and we will see you again on Around South Jersey. Good night, everybody.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.